From Hollywood, the Mr. Blackwell Show, starring that former dead-end kid who's become Hollywood's high priest of feminine fashion, America's foremost designer, Mr. Blackwell.
Before YouTube, Facebook, and going viral was even a possibility, there was Mr. Blackwell and his top 10 worst dress list.
Forget about Capitol Hill for a moment. The big news in Tinseltown today came from that fountain of fashion, the captain of couture, the one and only Mr. Blackwell.
Every January for more than 40 years, Mr. Blackwell's living room became the center of the fashion universe.
She looks like a gypsy abandoned by a caravan.
Did you make her cry? Who gave you a fashion wand to decide what's right and what is wrong? Not me, Mystery. Why do you throw your power around? What's wrong with cowboy boots and a long beaded gown? Tell me, Mystery.
Oh, it wasn't so bad to put down Kim Basinger and Madonna on the same list, but picking on that little lady who says, "I've fallen and I can't get up."
She's a fashion fatality. Your pen's so deadly, take it from me.
We started the list in 1960, and everyone was saying incredible things about people. I mean, everyone was wonderful. There was the best dressed list from a press agent in New York. I mean, it was ridiculous. If you put your thumb on the faces of these women, you couldn't tell one from the other. And the people that voted on that list were the designers who sold them the dresses. Of course. I mean, so naturally they made the list. So one day, a magazine came to me and said, "Would you do the worst and best of Hollywood?" And I said, "Sure, I'd love to do it." We did it, and we thought it would end right there. But the public was so taken with one guy that would say, "You know, honey, you really look lousy."
But for people like Linda Carlson, Mr. Blackwell was more than a walking soundbite.
His designs are gorgeous. His philosophy was real down to earth. You know, he wanted to dress women in clothes they could really wear.
I had a decision to make when I first went in. Would I be a designer for the industry, or would I dedicate myself to making women feel better? I chose making women feel better.
The best advice I gave myself: do what you believe in.
For all the controversy and uproar created by the list, Blackwell could be warm and charming, especially with students, specifically students in the design and merchandising program at Colorado State University.
We cannot take all of this seriously.
So he came in '89. He was interested in students. He had a philosophy of how important education was for students. And when he came back in 1996, it was really wonderful. He loved them, and they adored him.
Colorado State University has the largest collection of Blackwell originals in the world.
There was a time period when he was making powerful statements about what was really beautiful on women.
He didn't care what the fashion industry was doing for that year. He created what he wanted to do that year. And that's what I respected about him.
Born Richard Seltzer in the early 1920s, he grew up poor in Brooklyn. He moved to Hollywood and became one of the dead-end kids in the 1930s. He had a small part in a film produced by Howard Hughes. It was Hughes who gave him his name. Disillusioned with acting, he teamed up with Spencer to market the persona now known as Mr. Blackwell.
Blackwell was a great, great, great designer. But Spencer was the businessman who took care of everything.
Had to pay the bills.
That's right.
It wasn't long before the Mr. Blackwell design became the label of choice by a who's who from Hollywood, New York, and beyond.
Jane Russell, Jane Mansfield,
and Blythe, yeah, Marilyn Monroe. When I would wear a Blackwell, people would say, "Oh, you're wearing a Mr. Blackwell," because he had a signature to all of his clothes.
Spencer and Mr. Blackwell were innovative and worked hard. They were the first to take their show on the road and to the sea, combining entertainment with fashion on cruise ships and ladies' clubs from Albuquerque to...
Why, you can go to, wait a minute, Richard, wait, where am I? Where is Fort Wayne, Indiana? You can go to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
They traveled with a trunkload of dresses, a musical trio, and two of Blackwell's favorite models.
These are my girls. This is Carolyn, wearing at home.
He was absolutely adored in the places where we would take the shows, which would be, into Salt Lake City or into Boise, Idaho, or Seattle, or all over. We traveled all over the country. And the women just loved him. They loved his designs because they were easy to wear and they knew they looked good.
Here is something that will make you always feel like you are absolutely in fashion. We think it's a wonderful way to look and great for traveling. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lena Wells.
Jane Lynch walked the red carpet at this year's Emmys in an Ali Rahimi original.
You know, when you do go from a tracksuit to wearing purple taffeta, you deserve to get some style props.
Jane won for Best Supporting Actress, and Ali was recognized for creating the best dress gown.
Thank you so much. This is outlandish.
Blackwell freely gave of himself to up-and-coming designers like Ali.
He said, follow your passion, do what you're doing. You're doing a good job, so stay with it. He did have one complaint though. He said that I didn't have enough show in my business. He said that I needed to be a little bit more showy. I'm not quite sure if I can make him happy with that.
Mr. Blackwell was many things: outlandish, creative, engaging, clever, but most of all, original. He will be missed, but never forgotten.
Those gowns will live on and hopefully will serve as inspiration for students coming up that will go look at that like I did when I was going to, and still do when I go to museums and look at pieces, and I think, God, someday I'd like to get somewhere near this.
I want to honor Blackwell. I want to recognize Spencer's contribution. I don't want what they've given to the university and to our students to be lost.
You go without sleep for dates you must keep to marry some creep with a future. Wake up, let down your head. It's silly to think that dyeing hair pink will get a man's wink of approval. Let nature let down your head.
When he created the worst dressed stars, and I always go up to him and I said, "Do you like my dress? Do you think does it look good on me?" He said, "Oh yes, I love your dress. It's really great." I mean, I was always worried about Blackwell's opinion. I mean, that's how women were so impressed by what he thought.